Yeah, and this is fascinating because you mentioned like the regulations around the state agencies being able to help, but you also mentioned just having this inundation of people that wanted to get in, didn't know how to get in. Of course, there's these kind of services that are offered in other markets outside of cannabis, but I'm curious, what is it you think is like unique about the cannabis industry versus other professional industries or nonprofits, aside from the governmental regulation? But are there any other unique qualities in terms of job seekers that sort of made your program, Our Cannabis, particularly useful that doesn't really extend into other markets? Is there anything about this market in Michigan or more broadly for like the people that are getting into like the labor part, not necessarily owning cannabis grows, but just working in as a career? What is different about this industry that you found, if anything?
Mm, yeah, so we we're actually the first and only organization of our kind in the world. And very, very quickly, we expanded and have a national footprint. So we service people all across the nation, and we've actually helped people in Europe and we've helped people in Australia. So we're ever expanding. And what I find is unique about the cannabis space is that there's unbridled opportunity. I mean, think about it. You don't need experience, you don't need a degree to get into an industry that has unprecedented upward mobility. It's a place where someone can get in with enthusiasm and a willingness to learn, and in a very short period of time. And I've seen this time and time again with our cannabis alumni, people who complete the courses and are now working in the cannabis field, where
Mhm.
in a year they'll be promoted 2 or 3 times. They'll make $20,000 to $30,000 a year more, and they're just continuing to climb up the ladder. And so the uniqueness about the cannabis industry is that it doesn't have all these prerequisites. It's not like the .com bubble where you had to be in Silicon Valley and you had to have money and be in the know. No, the cannabis industry is you have to be willing to get in. And where we find the bottleneck is in those those entry points at where the industry is the same as all the other traditional industries, is that you have to have a resume and you have to have an interview. And the days of, hey, this is my cousin, hire him. Hey, this is my best friend, hire him. Hey, this is my mom, hire him. That only builds a team so far. And so the differences are the opportunities for job seekers and career development. And the same is you have to have a resume and you have to have you have to have a successful interview.
And with like it seems like our current cannabis is really offering a lot of like professional coaching and placement to really get into the industry, to give you that ramp to grow your career. I'm kind of curious though. I know you would. I don't want to steer the conversation too far in this direction, but I am curious. You'd mentioned some cultivation challenges you had faced earlier on, and of course, I'm always very interested in
Mm,
like from the grower side. Do your courses ever touch on like industry specific knowledge or intellectual capital as it relates to cultivation itself, or what kind of placement or focus do you try to steer people in?
yep. So that's a question I get all the time from employers and from job seekers. So yes.
Oh,
All
interesting.
right.
Okay.
So we have we have stacks of curriculum. Workforce development is what my mom's thing is. So we've got stacks, and I mean, stacks of curriculum. And the truth is that there are other people that do that. Now, whether they do it better than us or worse than us, I don't know. And frankly, I don't care. What I do know is that nobody does what we do. So we are very vigilant and we are hyper focused on job readiness programs. The the training, the different plant manipulation techniques, the different growing methods, customer service when it comes to working in a retail center, all of that comes after. And so someone can have and we've seen this. Actually, I've seen this. I've got a lady in one of our cohorts right now. She's got more certificates than this pad of paper has pages, but she cannot get a job because her resume is how do I say this politely? It wouldn't get her hired, and she when she talks, she is so detail oriented that when I ask her a question, I get a ton of details, and I can't get through interviews with her because we spend 8-9 minutes on one question. And so she doesn't present she doesn't know how to present herself in a format to where someone goes, hey, you know what, I see that you have potential here, and I want to bring you in for a second interview, I want to hire you. And so while the training and the certificates and the knowledge is very important, it's crucial, we're focused on our lane, which no one else is doing, and that is preparing people to get those jobs. Now,
Yeah, and go ahead.
that said, as the organization matures and develops in a couple years, yeah, of course, that's why we develop those curriculums. But we have to be mindful of our bandwidth and where we can have the maximum impact today.